this amusement park made the worst policy ever. In response to unruly teens and false 911 calls about shootings inside the park, they cracked down in the dumbest and most frustrating way possible. If you don't know who I am, my name is Morris Plays Games, and I really like roller coasters. My home park is Knott's Berry Farm, which is unfortunately the topic of this video. Before we get into my thoughts on Knott's newest policy, quickly go down below the video and hit the like button and subscribe, and do me a solid. It really helps these videos do really well in the algorithm. And let's get into this most frustrating policy ever. A quick backstory. On Saturday, July 16th, I looked at my phone around 8 p.m. and I saw an Instagram post from the official Knott's Berry Farm Instagram. And I saw that they closed the park 3 hours early due to fights inside the park. I shrugged this off. It's no big deal. And boy, was I 100% far from the truth. Once again, I checked my Instagram and I saw on Wednesday, July 20th, a post from the official Knott's Berry Farm Instagram. For decades, Knott's Berry Farm has been a place for families and friends come together to enjoy a one-of-a-kind, full homegrown experiences and immersive entertainment. Millions of guests have counted on us for wholesome family fun, and we're committed to keep that promise going forward. As part of that commitment, the park will implement a chaperone policy beginning Friday, July 22nd, 2022, remaining in effect on Fridays and Saturdays until further notice. For more context, as long as you're underage, you cannot go to the park by yourself or with your friends as long as none of them are underage. And to add more salt into that wound, your chaperone, with air quotes, has to be over the age of 21. So you can't even go with your friend who isn't 21 but isn't underage. Maybe they're 19, 18, and they can say, hey, I'm your chaperone, and you get to go in. You have to go with somebody over the age of 21. And by that time, you shouldn't know anybody over the age 21 and not either them not being family or you being a minor anymore. This is just completely bullshit that Knott's pulled out of their ass. Cause there was one fight. One fight. Yes, it was one fight throughout a bunch of fights throughout the day, but it was one time. Magic Mountain has dealt with this the entire time, and they've never pulled this bullshit. And I say this will fuck up a majority of the Knott's guests. Yes, a majority, because Knott's is so close to Disneyland that, oh, Mom, Dad, and little Timmy want to go to Disneyland and go ride the little kids' rides, but the big brother or big sister doesn't want to give a shit with the small rides, and they want to have something thrilling. Well, instead of going to the family park designed for families, they go to the park designed for all ages and has more thrills. The park builds off Disneyland, but by doing this, it is screwing up a good chunk of their people. And I'm going to add on and how it screws up another chunk of their people. And somebody may be watching this like, oh, Morris, you're just making a big nothing sandwich. They're only doing it on Fridays and Saturdays. But I'm really not. They know they would fuck up majorly if they did this every day, as the parents have to work, so their teen who spends recklessly at the parks and buys tickets every time or has a pass won't even go during the week. But by having it on Fridays and Saturdays, they know that the parent doesn't have work and can take them. And instead of just dropping them off at the start of the day and picking them up at the end, the parent has to pay for another ticket and another season pass for themselves. This may just look like a way to keep teens from going crazy because their mommy's gonna be a couple feet away, so the people of parents of toddlers will still bring their kids to the park. But you don't understand. This is a way to fucking scam the parents. who won't even go on any attractions. Most likely, they're just gonna sit on a bench and wait for the kids to go. And they're gonna pay for merchandise, because their kid liked the ride so much, or they liked the park so much, that they want to get a t-shirt. Or they're hungry, so they have to buy food. It's basically having the parents pay to go into a mall where all the prices are absurd. It's not like, oh, these are reasonable prices. They are paying to go inside somewhere where they have to pay more than they would on the outside. But I don't even think that Knott even sees the problem with this new system, which is, I can't drop my kid off to here, and I don't want to go inside, so fuck it. I won't go. We're not going to take our family to your park. Instead, we're going to choose to do something more closer to home, like maybe go mini golfing or whatever. Go to Dave & Buster's, whatever. But they're not going to drive out to the park and do something. They'll choose to do something more locally. And it's not like, oh, like this is the only park in ours, like somewhere in, like up in Washington, where it practically would be the only park in Washington. No, Magic Mountain is literally an hour's drive away. In Disneyland, it's a couple minutes drives away. So the families could just go to Disneyland, and people who want the thrills, and the people who you're affecting by this, will be like, why should I have to go with my parent and have a chaperone when I can go to Magic Mountain, which has more thrills, has more roller coasters, and even has a brand new roller coaster, something new I can ride. Not just the same old stuff I got last year. It's not something different. And it's just really ridiculous to have this policy, because it's not helping your park, it's actually hurting the park, because it's giving a bad stigma to the park. And it's gonna screw things up for the park, and it just frustrates me so much. I'm sorry, this is such an angry video, but this is truly how I feel. No shit was cut out of this. What I felt, I typed onto my script. And basically, almost everything I've said has been based off my script. I haven't gone off script at all. Well, a little bit, but not that much. But if you've made it all the way, thank you. Obviously, you saw something you liked, so why don't you just head out before you leave and hit the like button if you haven't already, and also subscribe, because I do a lot of roller coaster content, and I also do some other stuff sometimes. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.